Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Judi Fearless feed. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Judi Umali-Rajkumar and my company is Judi Fearless. I'm a career coach who has been certified as a life coach since 2013, and I have 10 years of experience in coaching and mentoring others' career development through my various roles in human resources, talent development, career management, and recruitment across various industries such as the IT consulting industry, automotive, as well as financial. So today I wanted to talk more about fear, because this is something that a lot of us have in common, pretty much everyone. Now, I became Judi Fearless, and I chose the name Judi Fearless because of circumstances that were going on in my life a few years back that made me decide enough is enough. I want to be able to do amazing, great things and to overcome these fears and obstacles that I had in my life. And so it took many years in progress, and that's pretty much how I am where I am today. So today, when it comes to fear, I have been dealing with a lot of clients who come and talk to me about some of their obstacles that are going on. And when I'm talking about fear, I wanted to emphasize the different telltale signs that people don't always realize for themselves are signals that they have fear in their lives. And when you notice that fear is paralyzing you, it's when you see that it's preventing you from doing actions that help you to achieve your goals, whether it's your career, whether it's your personal goals, anything that is preventing you from actually moving forward and working on those things, that is probably going to be fear related. So I actually went through a lot of these different things that I'm going to talk about today in my own personal life, and I've had many adventures, a lot of which I'll actually talk about in my vlog series. And so, always stay tuned for my channel for new updates and videos and hear about some of my fearless adventures that taught me how to be fearless. So when it comes to fear, most people don't realize this, but two of the biggest fears that people have are the fear of failure and fear of rejection. In fact, when you look at many different studies, the fear of failure and fear of rejection are going to be the two biggest fears that people have before the fear of death, which is really the ultimate fear that somebody would possibly have. Now, I always like to share with my clients when I'm talking to them that when they focus on the fear of failure and the fear of rejection, you're really worried about something that hasn't happened yet, based on experiences that have happened in the past. So the goal is to always focus on now. And to overcome fear, the first step is to be aware of what's happening now. So here are some things to pay attention to. Number one, if you are afraid to let other people in, that's a big sign that you are probably afraid of rejection and failure. Okay, so in my own personal life, there was a time when I was going through many difficulties, but I always wanted to give the impression to other people that everything was perfect. So I had a lot of friends, a lot of amazing girlfriends, a lot of amazing guy friends, but none of them really knew what was going on internally with me. I was really afraid to share that with them, that if they knew about some of the mental emotions and the mental things that were going on in my brain, that they would have considered me crazy or not want to spend time with me, or maybe considered me to be a drama queen. And so instead I chose to internalize them. And so that is a big thing to consider. Are you closing yourself off from building amazing relationships and having deeper relationships with other people because of your fear of letting somebody know what's really going on inside? Okay, so number two, another big thing is when you start to compare yourself to other people. Now, this can be in the form of positive or negative comparisons, or even neutral comparisons. But the difference between comparing yourself healthy and comparing yourself in an unhealthy way is when you're comparing yourself and it's preventing you from taking action on something. So, for example, there was a point in my life where I looked at some of my friends and I thought that they were doing such amazing, wonderful things. They were getting promoted in their jobs, they were getting married, some of them were even having kids, and I thought that I wasn't good enough. So here's a sign. When you start to think about yourself and say, I'm just not good enough, or I don't have what it takes, that's a comparison that's hindering you from being amazing. And again, that is focusing on something that has nothing to do with you, but more basically what your fear is about being rejected or failing again. So another thing to pay attention to, this is the third one. So you've got not letting others in, comparing yourself to other people. The third one is hating. And this was something that I experienced as well. As happy and loving and nice of a person I found that I did have a tendency to be a hater. And instead of bringing other people up, there was a point in my life where I'd actually mentally or verbally actually share it with them, tear them down. And when I started to think about it, I realized that my own feelings of how I thought about myself, the things I didn't like about myself, were what I projected onto other people. So for example, I would unfortunately hate on people what they were wearing, what they looked like, something really strange that they said, or an experience that they were going to be having. And it was just something so trivial and ridiculous, but I found myself actually hating on these particular people more because I was jealous of my inability to actually take action myself. And so that's something to consider. Why are you hating? What is the sort, is it warranted? If it's something as trivial as making fun of somebody and the way that they look, take a look at yourself and how you feel about who you are. And that's a big projection of the fears that you have within you, right? Now the fourth one. This is something that is a really big sign, which is overall just caring so much about what other people think about you, especially when you start to care about what other people who don't matter to you think about you. Now, there's a point in your career, like when you need to get something done, where you absolutely need to make sure that you have those key stakeholders buying into your ideas and on board with who you are and what it is that you're planning to do. Now, that's one section that you actually need to focus on. But when you are being paralyzed because you're going to, for example, a networking event, and you're afraid to meet people because you think that you're not good enough, they're going to think you're weird by introducing yourself. These are people who you haven't even met yet. So again, the fear of something that hasn't even happened yet is preventing you from actually meeting other people, making relationships, having adventures, because you care so much about what other people think about you. And this is what I want to emphasize. Ask yourself, what do you think about yourself? When you start to focus on what other people are thinking about, turn it around and think about what matters to you about who you are. And then lastly, the fifth thing that is a really big telltale sign with fear is you focus on obstacles instead of opportunities. And this is a big one where you can pick up pretty easily. If somebody is saying, let's go to the movies, and you say something as simple as, yeah, we could go, but I don't feel like going. I'm just really tired. You start to make excuses for different types of opportunities. And something as simple as going to the movies or going to a networking event, applying for a position that you're actually qualified for. There's a lot of fear involved around that. And when you focus on the obstacles and you hear it in your head, and you hear things like should, I could, but, and start hearing those negative words, those are really big signs of the fear within you. Okay, so just to recap it, you've got number one, not letting others in. Number two, comparing yourself to other people. Number three, hating on other people. 4, you care a lot about what other people think about you. And the last one, focusing on obstacles instead of opportunities. So there you have it. Those, for me, are my 5 big fear flags. There's a lot more, and I'll dive into that further as we get, deeper into a lot of these other videos. But for now, at least start focusing on the 5 things and seeing where in your life these are actually coming up in conversations with yourself and with other people. Thank you so much for joining me on my Fearless journey and my Fearless channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and social media sites for fearless inspirations and career advice. Have a fearless day. Bye-bye.